Welcome back. Welcome to another build review, and we are going to discuss this build. This is for skilled players, so this is for the ones who like to run skills and maybe mix it up sometimes during those events. But I would say this build is my go-to build pretty much for any gameplay, especially in PvP. So I'll explain that. But let's go over this build today and look at this chess piece. So the hardwired, uh, definitely four piece. You need the four gear sets. This gives you skill haste, 15%, skill damage 15%, and repair skills 30%. And then with the feedback loop, this definitely helps, especially whenever you need to get your either, let's say, turret, if you're using turret, or seeker mind, or just any uh, skill that you're using in this game. Of course, whenever you're using or cancel a skill, your skill cooldowns automatically reduce 30 seconds while increasing your total skill damage and repair by 10% for 20 seconds. So definitely need this piece for your chest. Now for your backpack, another hardwired. Again, this chest piece here is going to give you a short circuit with decrease the feedback loop and cool down by 5 seconds. So go from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. I think I forgot to review the chest piece. Yeah. So the positive reinforcement for the chest piece, feedback loop, skill damage and repair bonus 10% to 25%. That's huge. So uh, definitely need these two gear sets, and they're really easy to get. I mean, you can pretty much form this or create your own. Uh, Again, this is the third piece here. You need um, for your gloves. And also, I forgot to mention the attributes you need. Definitely go with skill damage with this build. As you see, skill damage is 10% for each gear set. So the attributes you need skill damage, and then throw on a mod of 12% skill haste. For your mask, you need the vow mask. Now it depends on how you're playing the game. Again, you can have multiple builds with this. This because this gear set is pretty much made to accommodate any skilled player. If you're like the one that's just want to, you know, uh, help the team out and keep them all healthy and healed up, you can go with the repair skill build and switch it up. Or, like I said, you can do both. You can do skill damage and repair skill. But I like this more for skill damage. And I forgot to mention here with the talents of the mask, the Vow mask. So you're going to get that status effect. Also applied to damage over time and debuffs for 10 seconds. So those total damage dealt is equal to 50% of your concussion grenade damage and increased by your status effect. All right, so let's talk about the this piece here. So the knee pad. So I went with this one, the China Light, because it give you 15% explosive damage. This definitely uh, is a good talent to have. Now you could go with this here as well, the shiny monkey, but again, you don't really need 16% status effect because the amount of damage you're going to do with this, um, you can pretty much wipe out anybody. Now, I would say anybody unless they're like super, like armored, like 2.0 or something, or maybe 1.9. I mean, you're not going to eliminate them, but over time, you'll break down their uh, armor, which then it will affect their health. So, again, this why I put this piece on here. All right, so we're going to talk about the weapons here. Again, Harmony. Harmony is definitely a good gun to have. Of course, I'm at 12% expertise, so I'm not at the full max yet. But you're going to get, of course, the rifle damage, critical hit damage, and damage out of target, which is important to help when you're shooting at enemies. Plus, you get the perfectly in sync. Hitting an enemy grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a non-shield skill or damaging enemy with a skill grants 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds. So definitely need this gun. Of course, as far as the mods, I mean, you can pretty much put whatever you want. As far as the mods here, then of course we go with the capacitor. Again, so capacitor is definitely a gun to have, especially when you're in a fight. I usually go with this gun be number one and this number two. And reason why, because this gun will build up stacks. So as you shooting, it's helping you build up stacks. And those stats will, you'll see the bars go up and you'll see the amount of damage you're doing to an enemy. So again, capacitor, you definitely want that. So as far as your pistol, you use whatever you want. I again like quick step because it just helped me get from point A to point B, and I don't have to be worried about not getting there on time. Um, so again, 12% expertise, which is not maxed out, and it's not that really serious. These are the mods on here. So now we're going to go into what I use whenever I'm playing. So I use this Hive. Hive is definitely effective, especially I would say in a PvP gameplay. It really does its job. So as you see right now, 324,000 PvP damage. But this in the PvE world, it really do hit even harder. Uh, so again, these are the stats, and of course I'm at 30% damage for expertise, and with this again you get 120%. So I'm just pretty much doing damage when I'm out there, and then using the seeker mine. So the seeker mine is maxed out as well at 30% expertise. Then you got the bleed damage, which is 73,000. And then you have your damage is overall 4 million. I mean, I don't think nothing can stand 4 million damage, right? Then you got PvP damage, 878. So again, really good numbers. I use this, like I said, whenever I'm uh, doing conflict. I honestly, like, far as Dark Zone, I don't think I've used this. I might have used this build one time, but again, I just pretty much play with this during PvE play or conflict. So here you got the mods for the Seeker Mine is you got 44.9% damage. Again, another 4.9%. So I haven't quite found a 5% mod for Seeker Mines, but when I do, I'm gonna definitely put that on there. Um, so that's that. And then, of course, one thing I didn't do is I didn't put one of the core attributes to armor. So that would probably be my next thing. I may just change this and put that actually armor because I don't need, yeah, I don't need 7 skill tiers because I have already have 5, and then with the tactician makes 6. So again, you want a little armor for yourself. Um, and let's look at again. We'll just look at the stats here. Of course, you're not gonna make a huge. You're not gonna make damage, a lot of damage to enemies using your assault rifle or gun or whatever. But this is not for that. It's for skilled players. Um, of course, we're gonna go down here. Let me just leave that. There we go. So we got armor, a little bit of health there, and let's go down here. So here's bleed resistance 6%. All right. So again, these are just overall numbers. Of course, you may have something different if you're not at the higher expertise level. So, but it still works either way. And like I said, you could change this build up however you want, how you want to play it. I typically, if I'm in a playing like heroic or legendary, I'll switch it up and go with clusters. Just so kind of help the team out. Hive, definitely you want to keep a hive. If you want to change it up and go with probably like restore hive or something like that. Again, just to help the team out. Uh, that's what I would recommend. So, and also just kind of explain how this build works, right? Um, let's go here. So I'm gonna demonstrate a little gameplay here. Let's see. Of course, I got. All right. So here's gonna do damage here, right? All right. Of course. Let me see if I can demonstrate. I got all the directors on, so that's not gonna really help. Let's see if we can. Ah, here we go. All right. So I throw the hive here, right? It does this damage. Then if I do that, right? So now what's supposed to happen is without the directives on is I get the seeker mine back faster. So now I wouldn't have to wait for the seeker mine to come back up because now I'm ready to throw a seeker mine again. So it's kind of like you're putting it down, you throw your seeker mine, and you get this, right? And then it once you know do the damage, right? You do this again after, let's say, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and then get it back in. Now you got your seeker mine. So it's that loop where you just simply keep throwing the seeker mine. After it does damage, you drop this. After about 10 seconds, pick it back up, and then you're ready to throw your seeker mine. So that's just how this build works. And like I said, I really like this build. It's one of my favorite.